How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to continue on with our 77 Bally Night Rider. Today we're going to flip the playing field over and get all of our maintenance done underneath. You did see a little bit, there was the one kicker was unhooked, lost an E-clip. We need to break down our drop targets and see what they look like. I'd like to take them out and clean them so they look a lot better. You know, a little worn, I don't care. A little wear on the drop targets isn't bad. And these are what is known as a tombstone drop target, you know, because they look like a tombstone. The other ones are a hood. I call it a hood drop target because it's got that little hood on the top. So we're going to do all of our sleeves underneath, and we're going to pull up our pot bumpers, unsolder them, and get them ready to come up off so we can work on the play field. We got lots of work to do on the play field. It is very crispy. So that one, this one will have to be clear coated. The whole play field will have to be clear coated. There's still a few terminals lying around from me working on the MPU. And little pieces of wire. But let's see, the first, if you're joining us now and you missed the first episodes, you know, you've missed quite a bit. The first episode we just go over what needs to be done to the machine, and then we start working through the boards in the back box, and then we start with under the play field, which that's what we're going to do in this episode. I really had some fun with the MPU and the back box on this one, so if you missed that episode, you definitely got to go check that one out on the MPU and the back box. So if you missed that, go check that out and see what kind of fun we had getting it going. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to pull that play field and flip it over so we can work on the underside of this. Since there's not a whole lot going on underneath the play field here, this would be a pretty quick video. So what I have decided is I've already made up my mind that it's not that I want to clear coat this play field, it's I have to. It is in very dire need of it to save what is there after we fix it up. So what I am going to do is I'm going to remove every protrusion through the play field that I can. That means all of our switches, our slingshots, you know, the flippers I normally do, pop bumpers I normally do. We have the stand-ups. I'll pull the stand-ups up out of there. And there's a couple more stand-ups through here, there. And I'll take our drop target assemblies up off of here. And I'm going to remove all the drop targets anyway, because I want to clean them. And we'll remove the switch behind it. And that way, once I get it unscrewed off of the drop target assembly, we can set the drop target back down on there and put a couple screws in it just to hold it so it's not hanging and flopping around. Those are all good. And, you know, and then we remove the bumpers, you know, and all that stuff. But anyway, since this would be a short video, because there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sleeves to do, and the drop targets. Once I get all the protrusions and all my sleeves changed out, I'm going to go ahead and flip this over, and then we're going to tear down the playing field in this video as well. Play, whatever. We'll tear down the play field and we can start working on it. And we still got all of our inserts to clean. We'll clean all the inserts while we're under here. Change all the light bulbs while we have it flipped over. And you know, that's not something that I have to do at this point, because it has to be flipped back over and put back together anyway. So first thing I'm going to do is we're going to change out some sleeves and start pulling protrusions out of the Playfield so we can get it tore down on top. And this is the slingshot that I was talking about, that there's an E-clip missing on that, so it's not doing doodly squat. Other things I have noticed, there's a screw missing out of the coil stop for the flipper, and it's all floppy. Probably because both screw holes are probably stripped out, so we'll be doing something there. Those are the only two things that I can see right at the moment, just by kind of looking things over, and that's all I can see that, you know, is problematic on the bottom of the Playfield. Everything else looks to be intact, and our bumpers are working. I did play around with them once I got it booted, so I know that those three are good. The flippers work and the slingshots work, minus this one. It works, but it barely does anything. And all the drop targets work, so I know we don't have any problems there. But we do have a bunch of switches to clean, which I'll probably just clean the switches once we flip this over and put it back together. Maybe the same for, well, I may just go ahead and change out the light bulbs and clean the inserts, but I'll probably wait till we go to put it back together. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and change all the sleeves out and start working on that, and undoing some of these protrusions and stand-ups and stuff like that, so we have a nice flat, clean surface to work with once we tear all the plastic off of the Playfield. You know, a lot of these inserts, they're crap. They're pretty dirty. Look pretty faded too. But we'll see what they look like once we get them cleaned up. I kind of like to leave the inserts original, but you know, if they're pretty crappy, then we'll put new inserts in where needed. I already have an idea for our pop bumpers, so kind of stay tuned for that. When we start putting it back together, I'll show you what we're going to do with pop bumpers on this. I really like this machine. I have kind of a soft spot for drop targets. I love drop targets. So let me get busy. I'll get all the coil sleeves changed, and then we'll start working on pulling protrusions. Well, we'll pull our target assemblies, and I'll show you how I pull the targets out of those. We just did a stern. We did Williams way back when on our Scorpion. We did drop targets in the Stern Lightning, and we just finished up doing drop targets in the Gottlieb Target Alpha. So we haven't done a Bally yet. So Bally is going to be pretty close to the same as Stern, but they're going to be a little different. So we'll tear one of these down, and I'll show you how I tear them down and get the drop targets out of them. I pulled one drop target bank up out of there. These ones are a little bit different than the newer Stern, the 81 Lightning that we worked on. There's another mounting plate on that goes down onto the Playfield. Those two screws there and there are kind of a pain to get to, but if you have a long enough Phillips to go all the way down in there, you can get it. Now what I had to do was this. I got my 3/16 nut driver, an extension there and a long bit. That way I could go right down through the hole, all the way down in. You move this guy out of the way and you can get to those 2 screws that way. Kind of a pain, but you know, not bad. Just take your time, be patient. Had to take the switch off of the drop target bank to get it up off of the Playfield. And now we need to get our drop targets out of it. Now to take these out, this one's, like I said, this is a little different. We have to take this whole switch bank off the top, which is okay, and we still have this retainer here that kind of guides the drop targets. That's what actually catches them. So that's going to have to come off as well. I mean, you practically have to disassemble this whole thing just to get these drop targets out of this one. You see, the last one on the stern, we just had a bracket across here that held the drop targets kind of in place, and that's what the catch was on. We just took one screw out and on either side, and we could flip this up out of the way to get our drop targets in and out. Alright, we didn't have to take this top plate off. You can get them down through without that hood. Since these are the tombstones, they'll slide down through there and you can get them out. Worst part is getting this E-clip off of here. Those ones are really, really tight. That E-clip is the worst part of it. You would think that spring would be the hardest, but the spring isn't. That stupid E-clip. You try and get it started coming up off of there. If you can get it started, and then you can get that spun around a little, so get right in the middle. I'm probably gonna, my hand's probably gonna be in the way, but get a hold of it and try not to break your drop target. And there's the E-clip. Where you at? There you are. Get that E-clip out of there. And you can take that little pin that holds the drop target in place. Now you can get that little lever out of the way, and see, now you can get your drop target up top here. This is the easiest way I found to get that spring, because that spring's not just a hook spring. They have it through a winding. So we can get her twisted over. Because you don't want to stretch out that spring. Because that's what drops it, pulls it down. Okay, I take that back. Spring's the worst part. There. Drop target. And I don't know if you can see, but they have it looped all the way through the drop target. So it makes it a little harder to get that sucker pulled out, you know, get it twisted around and out. Next one, same thing. I'm gonna try and get the E-clip started up. Get a hold of it. Trying to get a hold of it right in the center of it. Without breaking the drop target. Man, they definitely don't want them falling out. Got lucky in that one. There it is. Usually you can get a hold of them with your needle nose and pull them right off, but not on this one. Those are some strong E-clips. Your pin. That sucker started all the way around. Drop target. Okay, I got two more here and a complete bank to do, and I will go ahead and get them going, get them out, because like I said, there's pretty nasty. I mean, we could change them, but I think they'll clean up just like downtown, and get them cleaned up. And get our drop target banks all cleaned up too, because you can see under the switch plate, that's all the crap that has fallen down through from the Playfield. Let me get these last two out of here and we'll be ready to move to the next one. Yay! Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Had a brain fart when I was doing this. Easiest way to get to those two screws down on the bottom is to just go ahead and take this plate off, the switch plate off first. Take 4 screws out. Like I said, when I was putting the other one back together so I could, you know, at least put a couple of screws in it to hold it down on the, come on, Playfield. It was like, oh, duh. Come on, screw. take those 4 screws out. Then you can pull this whole switch plate up off, set him off to the side, and now look at there. You can get at the screws from the top very easily. Like I said, brain fart moment. That's from a channel I watch on YouTube. Wicked Brain Fart. He does a lot of reviews on China handhelds and stuff like that. And you know, that's how I got started. Did a lot of game systems, home game systems. That's why you'll still see me do some repairs now and then on the channel, because that's, you know, I've worked on pinball machines years ago, but you know, it was all EMs. Did a lot of work on EMs. I've always had one, had an EM sitting around that I'd play, and you know, I always kept them going, always kept it going. I knew what the hell to do. Most of the ones I used to buy were, you know, pretty much ready to go. You know, you had just your normal maintenance on them. But the ones I've been getting now, they need a lot more work, which is fine because I enjoy doing this. Okay, on this switch I just take a twisty. Just so it stays together and doesn't fall apart. But anyway, yeah. Let's see. I opened up the game store. Oh shoot, about 10 years ago, and like I said, it was all home systems. Started with, you know, I'd work on Atari 2600 all the way up to, when I stopped working on them and closed out the games in the store, Xbox One. Not the S was just coming out, and I was doing some work on the S's, but mainly the original Xbox One. I still have a Xbox One and PS4 in the house that just sit there and collect dust. I never have time to play anything, and most of the time I don't even have the urge to play anymore. I'd rather be out here working on a pinball machine. And like I said, it was always all EM, and then the solid states came out. And I stayed with my EMs. Come on, stupid spring. But I have always liked the solid states as well. So most of the time I pick up whatever I can. I really don't have a favorite. You know, EM or solid state. I really don't have a. I like playing them both, and I like working on them both. To me, solid states are harder than EMs. Troubleshooting on the solid states is a heck of a lot different than troubleshooting on an EM. EM with all your switches and everything. It just, I don't know, that kind of comes natural to me, I guess. I don't know. Solid states are a whole different animal because of the electronics in them. I mean, a lot of it's still the same, you know, your switches and all that. But you know, if your switches aren't working on a solid state, you just go to the board and you know where they're all at. They're right on that board. Same with lights that aren't working. Hardest part though is the MPU to me on the solid states. Especially with, you know, a lot of these are 35, 40 years old. And a lot of them have acid damage or alkaline damage, whatever you want to say. Alkaline is an acid, so it's actually acid damage. And just depends on how much damage there is as to how much time you want to put into an MPU. You know, most of them like for these, the older Ballys and that, and Sterns, you can buy a brand new one for $167 shipped. So it's like, how much time do you want to spend on an acid damage trying to get everything working on it, when you could be putting your time into fixing a playfield up, or cleaning up everything else on it. You know, so it's kind of basically that's up to you. Myself, after so long of trying to fix an acid damaged, what am I doing? Oh yeah, trying to fix an acid damaged MPU. You know, you spend 2 days working on it, and then it'll boot on the bench, and then it won't boot in the machine. And then you get it to boot in the machine, and not all the time. It's not reliable. So to me, if you want a good reliable game, if you have one that's got some pretty bad acid damage to it, is instead of spending the time and the headaches trying to get it going, I would suggest just buying a new one. Because even if you do get it up and running, you know, where you think it's reliable, that acid will rear its ugly head at any time, because I don't care what you do, how you clean it, what you clean it with, there's still alkaline in the board, on the board. To me, I don't know. You know, it's okay for a little while. You get it fixed and you can play it for a while, but I would suggest as soon as you have the money to buy a new one, just buy a new MPU and slap it in, and you know you're going to be reliable. Every time you turn it on, it comes on. So that kind of completes everything that we have to do up here on the underside of the playfield. Got junk sitting everywhere, but anyway, I got all my protrusions up out. Changed all of our sleeves. Got all the sleeves done. All the switches are pulled up. Slingshots are pulled up. There's nothing, shouldn't be anything sticking up on the top side of the playfield that'll get in our way to clean this one and clear coat it and touch up and whatever else we have to do. This one I knew I had to clear coat it. There was just not, it wasn't, oh, should I or shouldn't I? This one is, I have to do it. So you might as well pull everything up out of your way. It just makes it a lot easier. Alright, so now we got everything done under here that we need to do. And now I'm going to flip this back over, and then we can start tearing apart the playfield. Now let's get this crispy critter all taken apart so we can see what we got to do as far as ooh. Yep, everything's coming up on that one. Okay, my battery died at some point, and I don't think you missed much anyway. But anyway, we got everything tore off that I'm going to take off. We'll leave the sockets in, and I'll just plug those like I normally do, like I did on the last one. Man, I'm so afraid to try and clean this. I know I'm going to lose some, but you know, I don't want to lose everything. But I guess whatever we lose, and we'll just have to play fill in the blank. Play paint by numbers. I mean, everything, the only bad, well, it's all bad, but the only big spots missing paint are here and here. We just got a lot of blotches missing. Yeah, see? Not good. But it's got to be cleaned. So that's what we have to do, is clean it in order to be able to do anything with it. A little bit of wax left on it. But, oh man. Gonna be tough. But we'll clean it anyway. And we'll just hold our breath and clean and hope for the best. This thing must have really been in a, I don't know, a really dry building or something, because very seldom do you see them get dried out this bad. You know, even all the screws underneath to take everything off were real loose. You know, as if it dried out so bad that the Playfield, the plywood shrunk and the screws were kind of loose on everything. Wasn't really anything that was hard to take out. Even the post screws, you know, I need a better screwdriver, but that's beside the point. Everything come out easy. I can't take the side rails off. These two, I wanted to take those off so I could get, you know, right up next to it. But Bally, in their wisdom at this time, instead of screwing them on, they glued them. You can see the holes are there where they were supposed to be screwed on, but then there's a brad right there. So they glued them down. So I can't take, ouch, dang. So I can't take them, well, I can take them off, but I'm end up destroying too much. Okay, so now we got our Playfield all tore down. And the next is to clean it. And that'll be in our next episode when we start cleaning the Playfield. And see how much paint we lose. So let's stay tuned for that and see what kind of work we're going to have to get this squared away. So I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. And until next time, see ya.